So let's move on to Carricante. Very, very favorite grape of mine.
Now, I also like that much, and I think that now Caricante start to be even more famous than Nerello Mascalese because it's a very, very unique. Because if you think about Nerello Mascalese, you can search in your mind and say, "Oh, that's reminds me of Nebbiolo, reminds me of Pinot Noir, reminds you
Very much
something."
so. Yes, yes.
But Caricante reminds you nothing
It's
because
definitely its own thing for sure. Yeah.
yeah, it's really very difficult even to explain people that don't know it because it's so really unique. And I will tell that Caricante has also an emblematic name because caricare means to carry. Caricante, it means that carry a lot. And actually, it's a kind of vines that carry a lot of grape. And Caricante loves sun as well. It's a varietal that normally you planted with a very nice sun exposition. That's why the famous place on Etna to have Caricante is the eastern side of Etna. But we don't have vineyard over there, so that's why we decided to plant our Caricante in the upper part where we have the much more sun exposition. Caricante is interesting because when it's young, is a wine. And it's very good. When you age Caricante, is unbelievable. And in its evolution, you can start to feel all that petrol ins. I don't know. I would describe petrol because I'm not very good in English, but I would say that kind of smokiness behind. You can feel
Sure.
it
Yep.
when you have a very old Caricante, and it stays so salty in your mouth, so fresh. It's a flavor really that you need to think about 3, 4 different varietal to get what the Caricante
I
is.
hear you. Yes, I can understand that. Now,
Sorry, sorry, close the door.
now we have two of your wines through the LCBO right now. We have the Etna Rosso and the Etna Bianco. The Rosso is the 2020. The Bianco is the 2022. So tell us a little bit about those wines and how you feel people should be enjoying them. How you would recommend people enjoy them.
Yeah, so first of all, I really love those two wines for one reason, because they are the ones between our, I love to say classic wines,
Hmm.
because the difference between our wines in general, all the label is not the varietal, is the place.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we have Etna Bianco and Etna Rosso, and then the single contrada. But focusing on Etna Bianco and Etna Rosso, the work that we do behind those labels is really interesting, and that's why I think they are very, very interesting as well as wine. We do different micro harvests for all. So imagine our domain, 12 different vineyards. I mean, vineyards in 12 different contrada. That's
Right.
better, all dislocated in terraces, different altitudes, right? So those vineyards, the youngest, some of them where we have small parted, they will be harvested vineyard parcel by parcel. That's probably better to get the
Sure.
idea. We will vinify singularly, and then we will assimilate it in one wine. That could be red or white, depending if we are doing Etna Rosso or Caricante. That's mean that in one bottle, you can have the whole Tornatore. It means that in one bottle, even if it's our classic bottle, you can appreciate it, the place, our style, and our
Sure.
philosophy. So, about the Etna Bianco, for example, I will start with that. Etna Bianco is all Caricante, 100%, and we use the vineyard which are located between 500 and 600 meter about 650 meter of altitude, so in the highest part of the domain. We use different parcel of vineyard, and it's is vinified just in stainless steel tank, just to have an immediate idea, photograph of what Carricante is.
Yes.
We do the only things that we do that could be not usual is the aging in big cement tank, concrete tank.
Yeah.
We have this beautiful concrete tank that has the shape of a tulip flower, or if you are more familiar with a glass of wine,
Yes.
that has the convexity, on the end. And cement is an insulator, not only thermical, because potentially the wine cellar can be controlled thermically, but is an electrical insulator. So it's very important that the wine has a very nice rest before going in the bottle.
Sure.
And that's part of our style. We do these for all our labels except for the 2 sparkling, but we do these always. And so it's a very sample, I would say, classic vinification, but behind that you have such a lot of diversity that came from the vineyard, came from the place, that you will have at the end one of the products that will explain our place so well. I always say that our classics are our business card. So if you want to approach to Tornatore, you must start with Etna Bianco, Etna Rosso, and I can swear, if you like it, you will continue to drink them, maybe adding some Contrada just to try, but that is a must. So people comes at the winery just because they were somewhere, and they said our Etna Rosso or Etna Bianco, and they say, okay, let's go to visit them, because it's everything in one bottle. So, and about food pairing, if you are interested in it, so it's so interesting, because Carricante actually can go even with something unusual like zucchini, which is a very difficult food pairing, I would say. It's something that you can compare with it. So of course, paying attention on doing a nice place, like, I don't know, rice, zucchini, and shrimps, or something like that, as creaminess behind, that could be cleaned it up by this nice acidity, and something which which can be very nice in saltiness, to compensate the saltiness of those wine, because at the end you have these feelings of richness. I will start acidity, so freshness, richness, and saltiness.
Mm-hmm.
So those three words could help you to visualize or taste this wine virtually, I would say.
Now, as for your red, your classic red, because that's a different wine altogether.
Yeah. You mean the Etna Rosso, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, if you disagree with something, just let me know. I mean, you taste it.
I'll let you know. No.
So, Nerello Mascalese. So, Etna Rosso, it's not only Nerello Mascalese, because as I explained to you right now, we have some Nerello Cappuccio. So for the law, for the DOC, for the appellation, we could say it's 100% Nerello Mascalese, because the quantity of Cappuccio is so little that doesn't really matter actually for the law, right? But it is important for us because we have it, we use it, we respected a tradition. We are a very traditional winery, so we really respect that tradition. And we estimated 5% of it. It could be 6, it could be 4, but basically is around 5%. And what we do is harvesting again separately, parcel by parcel, vinified separately. And honestly, what I say normally is that you have one of the most funny wine, because we have 70% of red and 30% of white. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine when we work with Nerello Mascalese, with the Etna Rosso, that we use such a lot of different parcels. we do the assemblage with 43 different barrels, which is great for sure, and you will appreciate it really so slightly diversity. So and it's so interesting. Nerello Mascalese. So sorry, I'm just closing the door because my colleagues today are very happy for some certain reason.
Okay.
We are preparing all those Christmas gifts, so it's a very busy time of the year.
No, I get it.
So let's see if these open up. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I think it's better like that. Yeah, sorry. I was saying that Nerello Mascalese, the Nerello Mascalese and Nerello Cappuccio we use for Etna Rosso, we of course bring it from different parcel, vinify different way. What we do is a maceration that take place in the concrete tank. I mentioned it before. What we do is not the pump over, is the punching down. We broken the heart of skins, re-emerging with a special, I don't want to say machine, but it's a kind of disc that just simply go down that manually working. And we will do that. We will do punching down 3 times a day for the whole alcoholic fermentation. After that, we separate the skin and the mass, and we continue the vinification in oak. So we don't love oak. And that's why we choose for our reds to use and to work only with very big barrels. And when I say big, I mean 5,000 liter, which is quite big. And also, it's not a long period. It's just 6 months over there. So it's a quite interesting way to do it, because we don't want to miss the identity of each parcel, of each contrada. And so that's basically the way we work for all our reds. Could change something in timing, and for something kind of label, we use a little bit smaller barrel, but always big barrel.
I understand, yes.
Mm-hmm. And after that, of course, we do a longer aging in cement tank again before bottling, and that's bottle. That's why you have 2 years of differences between the coming out of the red and the white. The white, of course, is much more faster to get ready. The reds needs a little bit more time, even because the tannin of the red, it can be too aggressive if you go out too early. So it's nice in our wine, especially the 2020, which was a very balanced vintage. 2021 was very warm. 2022 was a little bit warmer than the 2020, but not that much. So we can say that we are speaking about 2 vintages which were very balanced in 2022, a little bit more warmer than the 2020, but quite nice balanced vintage. And it's interesting because on Etna, really the differences between the vintage is sometimes impressive.
Yes, yeah, I've noticed that in tasting for sure. Now, when it comes to food pairing, where would this wine be sitting at the dinner table for you?
That's interesting, because I'm probably the only Sicilian who doesn't like fish.
Okay.
But because traveling all around the world and tasting all these wines in a very different food pairing, I will tell you that I had this amazing, unexpected, I will say also, food pairing with a fish that I would not say in English because I really don't know. It's a kind of, we say ricciola, is a big fish anyway, rich fish that was cooked like, not like barbecued, not like roasted, but with smokiness behind. That was really interesting. It's a richer fish that was very nice with it, and also with sushi is quite interesting combo. Speaking about interesting combo, Me personally, I love to have Etna Rosso glasses with a stew or a soup or Indian food because I'm very fan of Indian food. And I think it's a very great combo because you get again this spiciness behind it, and Indian food is normally very fat, no? All this cashew and it will clean it up your palate perfectly. So that's are the combo that I really like it. Maybe our unusual, a little bit strange combo, but I really like it.
I'm just trying to track down that fish that you were talking about there.
Yeah, I'm just let me check on the translator. But and we have a chef that combine it with sea bass, for example, but it's not sea bass,
yeah.
the one that I mentioned. It normally cook it with capers, cherry tomatoes, Mediterranean herbs, because you always get the back of Mediterranean herbs as back taste. So it's also quite interesting.
It looks similar to an amberjack. It's yeah, it's a big fish.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lovely. I'll have to look for one of those at some point. Now, I have a quick question for you before we head off. And it was you were talking about labels earlier. Have you ever had a knock on your door from a certain Burgundian house about your your labeling looking kind of similar to theirs?
Someone told us that, and that's so funny because we cannot compare to that kind of maison, but actually it was not intentional, absolutely. When we worked on the label in first place, we had completely another different label.
Yes.
And Family Tornatore really fought for this label because Mr. Tornatore, Cavaliere Tornatore, so the big boss of the family, really wanted to have a more classic label with the Etna on the background, vineyard, which was good, but not really effective. And then at some point, his son, Giuseppe, which is not a film director, not related to him, but Giuseppe said to his dad that it was too old style and it doesn't want to have that kind of label. And so they worked on this label. And it's funny because they choose this color, like think about the Etna Rosso, no? Red, black, and white.
Yeah.
That's our domain, which if you think about it, is the representation of Etna. Black, red, the lava, and white, because for a big amount of time you have snow on it.
Yeah.
So the original idea was to create something simple with that color. What came out probably was similar to something more different, but it was not intentional. That was our concept, our idea. And then we made firstly the label of the red, and then we worked on the wine, on the white wine, and then we choose the green to represent the white. So that's our emblematic color, I would say, that then stated as I would say the palette of our color, which is red, green, black, and white.
Right. Well, I do have to say I really admire your handsome labels. I think they're very good looking labels for sure.
Yeah, and one of the points why we choose at the end, even Mr. Tornatore was convinced to use that one, is that on the shuffle they are very recognizable.
Yes,
so
yes.
If you just cross the shuffle, you will recognize Tornatore from far away because it's very simple and immediate kind of label. So that's why the reason why we choose it out, honestly.
Federica, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully the next time you're in Ontario, we can share a few glasses of your wine and I won't just be sitting at Anteprima Sicila drinking them by myself.
Yeah, I will come to Ontario very soon. So don't worry. I will make me, like say, you will forgive me for that.
Okay, of course, I've forgiven you already. No problem. But thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for this. It was such a pleasure to share with you all this knowledge about Etna and wines.
Super. Have a great day in Sicily. Bye for now.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Grazie.